That's
Call the Toledo City Council regular meeting for September 4th, 2024 to order. Our first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry.
We will now take the roll call. Councilor Mix.
Here.
Councilor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilor Strong.
Present.
Councilor Sylvia.
Yep.
Councilor Burns.
Here.
Council President Bush.
Here.
And I am present. Our first item is a presentation and proclamation from the Central Coast Humane Society. Come on up.
Yes. And we also have another representative.
Oh, cool, good. It may not have as good a copy as where we met, but at least it's here.
Thank you. It's important today.
I need it pleasant.
Barbara will start. Sorry.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you for having us. My name is Barbara Perry, and I'm the president of Central Coast Humane Society. With you in the room is Lisa Spence Brunette, and she is truly a boots on the ground person for community cats. CCHS was formed in 1974 and we worked with the shelter alongside their staff until 2013 when the shelter received stable funding and was no longer in danger of closing. At that time, we decided there was a need for help with community animals and not just shelter animals. We are separate from the shelter, we are not the shelter, and we exist solely through donations, grants, and fundraisers. We do not get any money from the taxing district. We are an all-volunteer organization. We do not have a building. Our funding goes to help both pets in the community and stray cats in the community. Now I'd like Lisa to talk about our programs and services that we offer county-wide and specifically to the city of Toledo. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. As Barbara has just mentioned, Central Coast Humane Society has a long history leading up to the expanded activities the organization undertakes today. I'm here to help you get to know a little bit more about us, and I'll refer to the sheet that we've provided that I think you have in front of you that is entitled Information Sheet/Presentation. Looking at the current activities section, I would summarize our activities into four major areas: helping pet owners with vet expenses, supporting those who care for community cats, fostering abandoned cats or dogs, and finally, providing information to local pet owners, cat colony caretakers, and others who care about animals. I hope you'll agree that CCHS covers a fair amount of territory. So let's focus for a minute on where we get the resources to do that. In that section on your page, you can see that we have significant local financial support from the Friends of Lincoln County Animal Shelter, from grants given by the City of Lincoln City, Lincoln County, and from the Confederated Tribes. We also apply for and receive grants from organizations outside Lincoln County, and we have many individual donors inside and outside the local area. I believe that where your resources come from reveals something about the heart of your organization. So let's talk about a group of resources that are not shown in your list. CCHS's human resources. First of all, we receive support from the staff at rescues up in the Portland area who take our foster and colony kittens to be adopted out. We get support from the staff and vets at local veterinary clinics and at low-cost spay-neuter clinics in Portland, Salem, Nehalem, and McMinnville. We get terrific support from our cat colony caretakers. These are people who've had one-to-many cats that have been abandoned, strayed, or been born onto their property. These people are a set of mostly unsung heroes in our county. They didn't ask for these cats, and the cats really didn't ask for their situation either. But they use their own resources to diligently feed and care for these animals because they are kind, caring, and responsible. And our volunteers, who take hundreds of phone calls, use their vehicles to transport animals and equipment for thousands of miles, keep our finances straight and apply for and manage grants, foster cats and kittens when the Lincoln County Animal Shelter is full, and who organize and execute events like the upcoming 50th anniversary gala, which I hope you all attend, by the way. It's fair to say that our small number of volunteers spend thousands of hours each year on helping people and animals in our county. I want to mention something in particular about the volunteers in the 50 years CCHS has been in operation. Think about that for a minute. This is a small, totally volunteer-run, locally staffed organization, and it's been exactly that for 50 years now. There's no national affiliation, no larger umbrella support organization keeping everything together. This has just been local people, local volunteers working hard and handing things off to others over time. And they've kept this work going for 50 years. I've only been part of the organization for 3 years, so I think I can say this. It's kind of amazing. So back to the data. The next section on your sheet highlights some facts about CCHS's work today in the by the number section. The first number goes back to our volunteers. Everything we do is done with a relatively small group of volunteers I've just referred to. There are 10 people who spend quite a bit of time, truly a full-time job for some people, and another 16 or so who assist in many different ways, but with a smaller time commitment. In light gray on the sheet, it's highlighted there, you see the grants, donations, and event proceeds totals we've brought in so far in 2024. Again, it represents our resources, our financial resources. These are not big numbers, but they're not trivial. Now look at our results, highlighted in darker gray. Using our financial system, we pulled the total number of animals assisted with veterinary care by the organization from July 1st, 2015 until now. And you see those numbers in front of you, over 3,400 animals countywide and over 400 in Toledo alone. In addition, so far this year, we have spayed or neutered 60 community cats in Toledo. Just a few examples of where these community cats in Toledo live. An abandoned house in central Toledo where the neighbors have worked together for several years to feed and TNR over 30 cats. From a house on the edge of downtown where a family has kindly taken in a bunch of pregnant cats, and now there are many kittens that flowed down the hill when someone moved out of the house above them on the hill. And a property just outside of the city limits where a woman and her husband came up with a really creative way to get feral cats to eat in a dog kennel that allowed us to trap 13 cats in 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That's a CCH record. Set just earlier this year, and Toledo owns it. I know you know this, but you have some great people in Toledo.
Yes, we do.
Looking back at the sheet, over $100,000 has been spent this year so far on veterinary care for pets, spay neuter for community cats through the Lincoln County Spay Neuter Program, and on food for community cats. These are dollars spent because someone wants to be a responsible caretaker for an animal and may not have all the money required to fulfill that responsibility, but they look for a way to fulfill it anyway, and we help them. And yet a few of these numbers, the final set in particular, hint at the rest of the story. For example, even though we have spayed or neutered 313 community cats so far in 2024, there are still 306 on our waiting list as of yesterday. For every community cat that we spay or neuter, still more waiting to be discovered every day. That's why awareness and recognition of our services are so important. We can't help people if they don't know about us. Central Coast Humane Society helps people in the community who care about animals. I believe that doing that for 50 years deserves recognition, and we are asking you for that. But our 50th anniversary gala is not just about that. It's about a different kind of recognition. This gala is about getting the community to recognize what we do so they will know that they can call on us for help. That's the kind of recognition we really hope to get from this 50th anniversary event. More people need help with their animals, but they need to know that we are there to provide that help. So to conclude, Central Coast Humane Society has a long history of supporting animals in Lincoln County, and in so doing, CCHS also supports community members in a very real way and helps to protect the quality of life in the county at large and every city in it, including Toledo. In this year, the 50th year of Central Coast Humane Society's work in this community, we respectfully request and would gratefully accept a proclamation recognizing the work of this organization. Thank you.
Wait 10 seconds or 30 seconds before I read the proclamation.
10 is good.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When is this 50th anniversary? It hasn't been stated.
September 21st. It's at the aquarium. If you go out to our website, centralcoasthumanesociety.com, you can have, there's a link there or there's a place there to purchase tickets. Thank you for asking about that.
Right. Ask and ye shall receive. City of Toledo proclamation, spay and neuter, it saves lives. Whereas Central Coast Humane Society has provided 50 years of support for animal welfare to Lincoln County and its citizens. And whereas Central Coast Humane Society has provided in the last 10 years alone over 400 City of Toledo residents with the financial support they needed to care for their animals in need. And whereas Central Coast Humane Society has trapped, neutered, and returned a score of community cats in the city of Toledo, promoting the welfare of these animals and the kind of generous citizens who care for them, as well as the health and peace of neighborhoods. And whereas the volunteers of Central Coast Humane Society have donated tens of thousands of hours, and the organization has allocated many thousands of grant dollars as well as donations from generous citizens to these efforts on behalf of the city of Toledo and Lincoln County. And whereas the city of Toledo is a community that places a very high value on the quality of life and care for both its animals and its citizens. Now therefore, I, Mayor Rod Cross, do hereby proclaim to spay and neuter your pets, it saves lives. I encourage all citizens to spay or neuter their own pets, work with each other to see all community cats are spayed and neutered, and to consider volunteering for Central Coast Humane Society to help the organization in its efforts to maintain healthy animals and therefore healthy cities. Signed by me this day, September 4th, 2024. Wow. Sorry, I don't know if it's the turn of the century. I don't know that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where are your offices? Where do you work out of?
Well, that's the thing. We don't have offices. We're very much just focused on doing everything, spending everything we have on focusing on animal care. So we have a phone that people call into. We have some forms online that people can use to make certain types of requests. So our presence, other than when we show up to get a cat or show up to trap something or that sort of thing, is completely virtual.
So where did you travel from to get here?
Lincoln City. I live in Lincoln City.
Okay, so I don't know if this is the place, but do you ever do pet parades? Set up a table at a pet parade?
You know, we do events from time to time and try to make our presence known and that sort of thing. Is there a specific?
Go ahead.
Oh, here we
Go ahead.
Well,
I knew where you were going.
So we're looking at having a Halloween costume pet parade. here in Toledo in either the first or the second Saturday in October because of it's less likely to rain.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking, and so it's just being formulated. Would love to have you, if you have, do you have brochures? If you could have a table where people could gather your information,
Sure.
that would be great. So what is that number that I would reach you at?
Or they could even be in the parade and hand out the brochures.
Well, yes, indeed.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think we might, I don't want to go too far with this. We might have a dog and a cat costume somewhere in storage, but in any event. I've heard some kind of hearsay that might be true.
The I
We'd love to
heard
do
is
that.
always the scariest one.
I know. We'd love to do that. Love to be involved. May I talk to you after the meeting and just
Please
give
do
you
so.
my number
Yes.
and email? Yes, that's a lovely idea.
Through the meeting. We have a short package.
It should be a short meeting.
Hey, if y'all listen to me for 10 minutes, I can give you the respect of saying. Catch your name. Lisa Spence Bennett.
And I know how to get a hold of Barbara, so
Okay, good,
if
good.
there's any disconnect, I know how to get a hold of.
May I say one more thing from my heart? I hope that you can tell that I'm very proud of the work that this organization does and the wonderful people that we meet in the community. The fact is, our goal should be to put the part of our organization that deals with abandoned animals out of business.
Oh, yes.
So I am not proud of the fact that that situation exists. So one of these days, I hope to come back to you with some ideas perhaps that maybe we can all work on to help with that.
Well, I think you'll have very receptive ears here.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mayor. Crum.
She says she accepts.
$5 or state.
All right. Next item,
Sorry. May I continue about the pet parade or is that for later?
that is, do that in your council comments.
Okay, I will.
All right. Okay, our next item is visitors' public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address council this evening on any topics not on the current agenda?
There are no attendees online, Mayor.
All right. Next item is consent agenda minutes from the meeting held February 21st, 2024. I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented from 2/21/2024.
Get it quick, second. Yeah.
It's been moved by Frank, seconded by Stu to accept the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the meeting of February 21st, 2024. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Did I see a no?
No, it came down slow.
Oh, okay. Motion passes 7-0.
I had to make sure it was my right hand.
I had to think about it too.
Yeah.
It's the one with the R.
Next item, discussion of resolution number 1373. Eric Erickson, Library Board Chair. Evening, Eric.
Those of you who don't know me, my name's Eric Erickson. I've been on the library board for the last 8 years. I've been elected chair consistently for the last 7 years.
Thank you.
I've informed the board that I am no longer going to be chair after this year.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry, but my health dictates it.
Of course. Thank you for all your time.
What I'd like to do this year, in my last year as chair, is straighten up a lot of what I see as mistakes in the formation of the board. The document that the resolution that you're referring to, you can get a copy of.
Sorry. Right here.
Under responsibilities for the library board, item 3 says it will help secure adequate financial support. How do you do that with an organization that has no control over funds?
Good point.
So things like that item need to go away.
Yes.
Or be strictly defined,
Right.
which I think in your case would be to make sure you're advocating with the budget committee to make sure that the library is adequately funded through the
Right.
city, since it's a city function. But yeah, you're right, making it that big nebulous thing does not work.
And, oh, by the way, in the resolutions, as well as in the ordinances, there is nothing that tells you what the chair's responsibilities are.
You're supposed
So-
to be creative.
I've taken a position that I do as little as possible, but I think that needs to be clarified in documentation somewhere.
Okay.
We would like to, well, we currently have a limit. We're supposed to have 7 members of the board. Had 7 members of the board for about 2, maybe 3 months, the whole time I've been here.
How many do you have presently?
I think we've got 5 at the moment.
You know, we never hear about library board.
Yeah.
Once a
Well, you see,
year,
that's part of it.
once a year when we renominate Eric to be the chairman, that's the only time we hear
And actually, I think it's only been the last 2 years that I've done that.
it. Well, thank you.
And-
Well, the two years before that was, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, wasted.
So Eric, let me ask you a question. Would you like to sit down with someone on the council, or would you like to sit down with, say, myself and our legal counsel and actually work on a resolution that actually addresses all your needs?
I would love to see that we sit down and do a resolution that addresses everything.
Okay? Let's figure out with Mike
Resolution and possibly
and
ordinance.
possibly ordinance, yes.
I actually think they both need to be fixed.
So why don't we get together? Lisa can shoot out a doodle poll and find out when we can all get together.
Okay,
And let's have a few meetings and hammer this out so we can bring back something that works for you, works for the city,
okay,
and actually moves the library board forward into a position where it needs to be.
right. Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. What, council, any comments?
I just have a confession to make. Until very recently, I didn't even know we had a library board.
I didn't until this came out.
Well, I knew before this because we voted on some stuff for them. And so yeah, this is something I didn't even know about.
I always thought you guys had lots of people that wanted to be on the board.
We did at one time. And we had it increased to 7 members of the board because we had 2 members of the community that were interested in adding music to events at the library. And unfortunately, they changed their minds shortly after they became members of the board. They were on the board for about 2 to 3 months.
Lisa?
And not knowing what the intent was when the library board was formed many years ago, one of the reasons why the council may not hear from them is because if a board that's city appointed reports to the council, then they are a governing board by state law.
Okay.
Keep
So-
records.
I remember all that.
Yeah, so maybe that's why the library board operates as an advisory board to the library director.
So let's the 3 of us sit down and see if we can craft something that works for you, for us, so we can help make this a better organization.
Right.
Okay?
And think about things you'd like to see as part of this.
Yep. Any other questions, council? Okay, thank you, Eric.
Thank you, that was great.
Who's like,
That's what we need.
okay, next.
What do we need?
Next item, decision item, approved change order number 2 with Civil West Engineering for Southeast First Street fire hydrant replacement and water line improvements. I'm gonna guess that I should have a Public Works director.
I saw him here somewhere.
He's in the back.
Is
I
this the,
tried sneaking in.
yes, I mean, sorry, Brian.
Not seen the paving on
B
him,
or
Brian.
more? Who's B?
Yeah.
That guy.
What do we got?
So, as y'all know, we've got the First Street project going on. It's getting closer to the end, which is great, but once we did a total dig out on the east side, they start to do a partial dig out on the west and noticed the ground was not as stable as they had thought ahead of time. That being said, a total dig out would be a necessity to make sure that we have a good foundation for that new road that we're paving, and to last for hopefully beyond my tenure, let's put it that way. I think it makes sense, and if we're gonna fix something, we might as well fix it right, and that's the hopes. And as far as the fire hydrant, it makes sense, once they pulled the hydrant to replace some piping, and it made sense that it was dated and it could use some updating / rebuild. And so replacing it with one that would just be plug and play made sense. And I'm hoping you folks would give us the approval to move forward with that.
My only question is, do we have some money budgeted for this still? I mean,
Doug?
There's, the original project was like 460,000, I think.
yeah,
And 460, it takes the total project to 508. There's still money in the street fund this is also split between street, water and stuff, so it's there.
I just need to know we have money and it's allocated for this
Yes.
purpose.
My only question is, I see it highlighted, why is it taking them up to 2 weeks to ship 2 single fittings? Because isn't that gonna delay the road being finished another 2 weeks?
The things are in place. It already took place. We got those fittings.
Okay.
They were able to locate them and get them fast tracked to us. And so that worked out.
I was worried you were using United States Postal Service for a moment there.
We're trying.
So more or less, you guys are digging up the entire road west to east.
So the most problematic space from basically southeast 9th Street down to almost southeast 10th, the majority of it would be a total dig out and just a redo of the base with compaction before the asphalt is laid properly.
That's the 60.
How long has it been since that road was built?
First Street,
Back when Joey and I was there.
Yeah.
at least.
And it's just been patched and filled
Band-aid
since
over and
then.
over.
There've been at least 4 serious line breaks since I started with the city.
What was the deal with the natural gas? Did somebody hit that line?
A contractor was brought in to do some grinding to bring up the old asphalt, and unfortunately, they grabbed a gas line.
Found some extra little goodies in there, yeah.
I would say the last time that it was probably paved, and this is just going off a hunch, was when the 12-inch line was installed. The original 12-inch line was installed.
Was that just patched?
No, it looks like it was a full pave at that time.
Okay. I was just wondering how long it's been, because that road has been a problem since I moved here in 2000.
So do you think this is gonna fix? Do we think this is gonna be a fix?
I believe the replacement of the water line that we did with the 12-inch HDPE, consolidating 2 lines into one, will help thoroughly mitigate the issue in that area for sure.
Any other questions, council?
I'm guessing it's just gonna add a slight amount of more time for that to be disrupted.
More time?
Yeah.
Well, if we, upon approval, I can tell you that it'll probably be paved in the next 2 days and probably close to completed.
Yeah, let's talk about that paving.
Wait, but you
How far
haven't
does
done the
it
dig out yet, have you?
The partial dig out's been taking place.
Oh, okay.
The full dig out was completely on the east side. The west side was the total dig out.
Okay.
What we're asking for, the change order.
Any other questions?
Judy,
Then I would entertain a
I
motion.
make a motion to approve change order number 2 to Civil West Engineering for fire hydrant replacement and water line improvements to a portion of Southeast First Street between Southeast 9th Street and Southeast 10th Street.
I say that.
Okay.
We're waiting.
Here.
That motion actually talks about paying Civil West. It actually needs to be Pacific Excavation. It's that's who we're paying. So the change order is from Pacific Excavation. Civil West just prepared it for you.
I thought it was Civil West paid
Engineering.
them.
No, we don't pay Civil West. We pay Pacific Excavation.
No, so the engineer is.
Somebody that must have been correct, yeah, it should be Pacific Excavation.
Okay,
So do you retract your initial,
I would like to retract my motion.
Okay.
Please.
do you accept that with the second? Does the
Yes.
Second, okay.
So then I would make a motion. What's the name of the
What's
place?
the name of the company?
Pacific Excavation.
It's not west, no west.
I make a motion to approve change order number 2 with Pacific
Excavation.
Excavation. Thank you. For fire hydrant replacement and water line improvements to a portion of Southeast First Street between Southeast 9th Street and Southeast 10th Street.
You still second, Tracy?
I still second
All
that.
right. It's been moved by Counselor Kaufman, seconded by Tracy. To approve change order number 2 with Pacific Excavation for fire hydrant replacement and water line improvements to a portion of Southeast First Street between Southeast 9th Street and Southeast 10th Street. I'll take a roll call vote. Counselor Strong,
Yes.
Counselor Sylvia,
Yes.
Counselor Burns,
Yes.
Council President Bush,
Yes.
Counselor Mix,
Yes.
Counselor Kaufman,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries 7-0. Next up on decision items, approve an expenditure of $81,000 for Butler Bridge Road street improvement. I believe that is also you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if any of you guys are familiar with Butler Bridge Road, heading towards Elk City Road, you know that there's a dire need for some repairs. The last 2-inch overlay that I can see, I'm assuming it's a 2-inch overlay because there's 2-inch chunks floating. I propose to have a grind down of 3 inches and have a compacted 3-inch new base put down, which should be sufficient for hopefully a long time for the amount of trucks and traffic that we have. Currently, it's problematic. You literally have to swerve to avoid said holes and whatnot, and it's just going to get worse with the amount of truck traffic we do have on Butler Bridge Road in that area.
I'd like to point out on this that GP is putting 45,000 to this project, 15,000 a year over the next 3 years. So while we're paying for it up front, they've already paid us the first 15, I believe, as they come in already. I can't remember. And then they'll have 15 over the next 2 years to help pay on this project.
15 a year over the next 2 years?
Yeah, 45,000 in total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will be,
We're only doing 35,000 on the city.
We're paying it up front, but
Right.
they're paying us back. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're more like, we're just doing 35 and they're paying 45 overtime.
Yes.
And it was also noted by Georgia Pacific that after the improvement was done, they'd like to put in some more flashing crosswalk signage.
Good.
that'll make it so much safer for Daisy to cross the road.
And you got 3 minutes.
I love that their help is negotiated. Hit the buttons.
If you teach Daisy to hit the buttons,
I don't think so. She's too on me.
you know, John, you make her do it. Make her teach Daisy, not you.
She's pretty lazy these
Any
days.
questions or comments, council?
No.
So the part is down on the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Because once it gets to the bridge, I believe it becomes county.
Yeah. Okay, the bridge down, yeah, there's some bad spots.
Yeah.
But it slows the trucks down.
So there's no underground piping in there that might need to be replaced when you're opening up that ground?
I hope not.
It's always a surprise, isn't
But
it?
bear in mind.
Yes. Once
No, there's
you
probably a
pop the
way
top, you never know what you're finding.
You guys have found like square wooden.
The
beam at
most
times.
recent ones actually we found on the First Street project, they're circular wooden, and I believe they're 8-inch, and they're wrapped with a creosote tar paper with wire.
Yep.
I believe they're cedar, I'm not positive though.
They're cedar so that they would last this long.
So cool. Yeah, so it's like Orangeburg on the outside with the wood inside.
Cylindrical wood
Weird.
wrapped with tar paper and wire.
Wow.
Yep, the wood's all milled, it all fits together. Yeah,
I wonder if that was done here. Well, no, it wouldn't have been, because that would have been before, if we had the plywood mill. Yeah,
in that neighborhood, around the water tank, all the way down through Fur.
there were multiple little mills, weren't there?
Well, no, it's just that there are. It seems like every year, public work guys come here to do something. And we find yet another wooden water or wooden sewer line.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been touched in the 100 and some odd years.
Because they're
since they've
still
been put in.
working.
Yeah, because nobody knows it because they're still functioning.
So as far as the paving, this is gonna happen fairly quickly, or you're gonna?
2 days.
Well,
No, that's for.
that's First Street.
Not.
So this, I have to wait to get approval from you folks before I can move forward with anything and sign documentation
What I'm
type,
getting at,
hopefully in the near future.
you're gonna, you may come back to us in case you do find something that.
I would love to share with you what treasures we uncover.
Yeah, but you're only going down 3 inches, so it's fairly unlikely you're gonna
Yeah.
find anything on this one.
So the paving part, that's what this is. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I would entertain a motion.
I moved to approve an expenditure of up to $81,000 to hire road and driveway company for street improvements along Butler Bridge Road and to authorize the city manager to sign and execute the contract. I second it.
Moved by Tracy, seconded by Kim to approve an expenditure of up to $81,000 to hire road and driveway company for street improvements along Butler Bridge Road and authorize the city manager to sign and execute the contract. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, reports and comments. Lisa.
Just a reminder, September 18th, I will not be at city council meeting for the Rip City Rally Tour. And I do have one question. Does the council want to have a town hall in October
Yes.
on work session day?
When is the question?
Work session.
Work session day.
Last
Wednesday.
23rd.
23rd.
Surgery's 2 days before that, and I'm.
You will not be there.
You have a date with that?
The reason that would be a good time is to have, for lack of a better word, a final open forum about the election.
Right. I just won't go,
Okay.
but yeah, good idea.
Well, you might be able to zoom in. Well, that'll make it.
No comment, Frank. I won't repeat what your son said. Anything else, Lisa? All right. Harrison. Yep. We've talked about the library tonight. What are you going to tell us about the library tonight? Come on up.
Time. We are scheduling interviews for the assistant director position. And we're gonna be leaving the adult programs position open for a bit longer. And we've wound down our summer. So we're kind of taking a deep breath out. And rolling into fall, we've got some things planned. We're gonna be doing a little bit of reorganizing, making some new spaces on the inside, making some improvements. And my apologies, I'm just back this week from having COVID all last week, so we'll see. But all better. Blue lines. Yeah, so we're gearing up for the library district as we've talked about before. It's gonna be coming back together in the nearish future. So we are split across two resource sharing networks. And so they're gonna start, the other side of the library district is gonna be migrating over to the system that we're using. So getting into sorting out how that's all gonna work. So I'll be taking a spot on the circulation and the cataloging committees moving forward so that we can make sure, as we've been doing our own things on both sides of the district, we're got standardizing, coming back into.
What a novel thought.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
It's fun. So that's what I got off the top of my head.
Okay, any questions for Harrison?
So if you feel better.
Thank you. Yeah, feeling a lot better.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Brian, anything you want to add?
All
John, come on up front.
Yeah, because I got a couple things.
That's why he didn't want hats.
First question is, you know that the lights, flashing lights are not working at the school sign?
That just got brought to our attention today while we were driving it. One in the,
No, the speed comes on, but the yellow flashing lights are supposed to be going because it says 20 miles an hour when flashing. So they're not flashing, so nobody's gonna go 20 miles an hour.
we had our folks working on that today. It got brought to our attention towards the end of the day.
Why is there 2 flashing lights on the backside when you don't need to slow down 20 miles an hour anymore?
One more time.
There's flashing lights as you're driving towards the school, but when you're heading away from the school, there's also flashing lights. Why is there some on the backside?
If you're looking at
Not on the
the
other one either.
if you're looking at the back of the sign, you're still in the school zone area. then.
Yeah,
So it's letting you know on both sides, you're still in that school zone area.
Yeah, but the issues, we found out about those today and they're getting taken care of. Yeah, absolutely. We noticed that when we drove by. I was like, that needs attention.
Now, the other thing, good job on that paving off of East Slope.
So we did get ADA approach finished, crosswalk from East Slope over to Southeast 10th Street towards the GP barrier. It did turn out very nice. And that will be one of the locations of our new safe routes to school, illuminated crossings also. We're wrapping up with this Southeast First Street project. Thank you very much. Hopefully in the next 2 days, the paving will be completed. I'm not sure when striping will follow, hopefully by Friday, and it'll be completely wrapped up. And we have the Mill Creek Phase 1A line bursting project, which started yesterday. We had a little bit of a hiccup today, but we're gonna have folks on hand from the railroad for oversight so we can continue on and get this finished up. Mr. Strong.
Are there any plans on looking around the city and redoing the yellow zones in some of the neighborhoods and such? I've had a problem.
Redoing as in repainting or changing the zones?
Not changing the zone, just repainting some.
Gotcha.
There's, in my neighborhood, I've almost had head-ons 3 times this last week and a half because people are parking in the yellow zone and it's very faded. So let's just say I enhanced it.
It's something we need to
Yes.
pay attention to, and we'll,
Yeah. Okay, but I know.
we'd like to get that. We also have plans to repaint, parking spots along Main Street also. It's just time and
energy.
workforce type deal.
Yeah. That's right.
I think you weren't here 2 meetings ago. I wasn't here the last meeting. It was the meeting before that. Larry has tsunami signs over at the fire department. They're the post ones. They're not the ground ones that I was looking for, because those are the ones Ron remembers public safety, but he does have signs.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think he'd like to get him out of the firehouse.
I'll meet with Larry after this. We'll get it figured out.
Well, you don't have to do it tonight, but
So I don't know if you saw on Facebook, but there's a question asked about the streetlights. And I know I came to talk to you about this.
That's the wrong person.
No, I don't,
Okay,
But there's what they're saying is somebody removed the streetlights, and I said that that's on Central Lincoln. But somebody said that it also comes from the city. If the city deems that a light is not needed there through Public Works, then they get a hold of Central Lincoln and they remove that. So I was just asking for clarity.
So if it has to do with Birch Street, Central Lincoln had reached out and asked if it was necessary to have the lights so close together due to maintenance costs and whatnot. There were 3 right in a row. Deemed it didn't need to.
To clarify a little, not necessary, but they had, so I don't know who used to have it. We already have this, the streetlights that the city pays for at the regular intervals. There was a third in between two that I don't know what happened with the previous owner, they didn't share, but no one owned it. And they asked, does the city want to add this to our bill? But we have all the regular lighting all down the street, so we went and checked and we don't need it.
So if I may ask, do they charge the city for a light
Yeah,
per month?
120,
28 or 29 a month.
it's what some, it's, yeah, 20.
Just under $30.
Under
a month.
$30, like that.
Because I get charged half that for the light I've got.
Different type of fixture. It's based on, there's different old fixture combos at different rates.
This light is so old, it had never worked. I mean, come on.
So it's literally has nothing to do with the city of Toledo. It's all on Central Lincoln,
Well,
right?
it did. So
They got stuff.
basically, probably a resident paid to put one up near their house.
Yeah.
And the resident has moved and they canceled their subscription and whoever the new resident didn't take it. So they asked, would the city like to pick that up or we're gonna remove it?
Yeah, because the person's question was they removed the light behind my house. So I assume it was on somebody else's street.
It's not ours and we don't own it.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just want to clarify.
They were trying to get us to pick up the bill.
I tried to stay off Facebook, Frank, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're great. Yes, you do.
That's all.
Good idea.
Anything else for Brian? Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I was unprepared.
You do fine. You do fine.
Chief Robison. Don't swear under your breath.
I understand. I don't really have a bunch or much really to say right now, I guess. There's been the question about the smoke in the air that's from the east wind event, blowing it over the mountains and giving us that and our heat. And so I don't believe that's going to be lasting more than a couple days. But if day 3 rolls around and we still have some smoke, it's going to be from the east wind event.
I have a question for you.
Talk to me.
Okay, and actually, this is for both chiefs. So, the last city council meeting I was here, you said we could burn in burn barrels if we had a grate on the top.
Mhm.
And, we could burn in a fire pit.
Mhm.
So my husband, sorry, honey, just pretend you're not here, was out there burning and of course didn't have the proper grate over the top. But then he was, okay, so no big deal. Then he thought, well, he decided he wanted to find out what size the grate had to be. So he called the police station. They told me can't burn at all, which is right.
Burning is allowed in fire pit, 3 by 3, burning clean, dry, no paint, no creosote treatment of any kind. So clean, dry wood, no leafy debris, no needles.
Okay.
In a fire pit.
Yes.
With somebody there in a hose. You have to add all that because we're finding people constantly, they just start a fire, burning, pick your product and they just walk away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
So burning is allowed in fire pits.
fire pits. What about a burning barrel?
Burn barrels are allowed if they have a grate on top.
And how big do the holes need to be in the crate?
You know, there's never been a number, but usually the except that I've always heard and seen is like expanded metal, the smaller expanded metal grates.
Yeah.
Because they keep in, but still, if you're burning in that, really the only thing you can burn is paper.
Yeah.
Or firewood, still no leafy debris, because the leafy and the pine needles are what are gonna be casting off the embers and everything else.
Great.
And I know we've had 50 of these, and I'm probably not far from an exaggeration with this little bit of moisture we had. But we knew it's too early in the year. We got heat coming behind it. And damn near like clockwork, here we are with the good heat and wind, east wind event brings our RH down. And this is the times that it
You
gets.
don't want any burning at all right now.
I well, it's kind of hard to close it day by day.
I know.
There is a notice on the radio that says, about the current situation on that. So if somebody was burning now, we might ask them to stop because this only lasts a couple days, but it's kind of hard to do during very
People also need a little bit of common sense. When you got a hot east wind blowing, it's probably not a good day to go have a fire.
We got somebody burning their garbage 2 days ago, so
I think
the common sense thing is a,
It's overrated.
it's a unicorn.
Yeah.
It's a unicorn, because I wish I was joking, days ago, burning garbage.
yes, they're called single horn rhinos.
Okay,
I'm not getting in a fight with one of those.
no, I agree with that. But, so the common sense thing isn't there, so
Any other questions?
close enough to the answer on that?
I was just wanting clarity, just because.
Right.
Two different things we were told and that's fine. I mean, I think we already lost interest, so, didn't take much. So that was it.
All right, sounds good.
That's it.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah.
Chief Pace.
Nothing for me.
Any questions for Chief Pace?
You didn't have anything to do with the big thing that was going on in Lincoln City where there was shots up there?
No. I do know that surrounding agencies went to go assist.
How are things going, recruitment and training and all that still on schedule?
Well, we're losing one to Floma, more than likely.
Is it the same one that you knew you were losing or?
We get people being poached all the time from our department. There's a huge draw in the money that they're luring them with. So I urge everybody, please keep in mind retention and hiring when you make your decisions, because I hate for us not to have a police department anymore. And if we don't have enough staff to run it, then
Well, we don't want to think about that.
No.
I mean, we have to consider it, but we don't ever want to be in that position.
Exactly.
is our other option, we contract with another
No.
agency.
Yeah, those are working so well. Setting up
Pass the
another-
blackmail on you. Anyway, anything else for Chief Pace? All right. Amanda.
Not a whole lot to report. Very busy right now, still finalizing conversion processes. We finalized our internal testing. We were able to work through all of our processes, old systems to make sure everything's working properly. There's one calculation question that we had to send out to them that they're reviewing. Other than that, our testing is complete and we're still on schedule for go live in the new system September 16th. So that's promising. Okay, still working on year end as well. And then also working on recruiting human resources still. We did receive several applicants first round, however, not enough experience to really interview it, so we've reopened to try and attract maybe more applicants or more training receptacles, so we have more choices, so we're pushing it out far and wide. If you know anyone, please send them our way. Reads much wrong.
Any questions for Amanda?
Yes. I think it was last week Doug was saying that at some point, we're gonna have to remake our water accounts when that whole system sets. Do you have a date on that?
I don't for sure, so I know we're 100% set with Springbrook go live September 16th. I am hopeful that Express Bill Pay, which is the merchant for the credit card account online system, will be up same time, but I can't guarantee. We've gone back and forth. They're working, it's a whole separate company. So we're trying to do them a coordinated effort.
So the only thing people are gonna have to do is just re-input their card number.
Well, recreate an account. So what's changing there is all of our water and sewer utility customers who have created an online account with our current vendor. They can go on, make payments, look at their bill, set up auto pay. We are completely switching vendors, so it will be a whole new company. Much better website, much better functionality. It's gonna be fantastic. But everyone will have to create a brand new login. So we're gonna be communicating that out We did put something in the newsletter. I haven't sent out anything with a firm date because I want a date before I
Right.
send it out, but we're working on that. That should be very soon.
And I imagine if you have people that are struggling with that, they can come in and you guys can help them.
Yes, we can help them. We'll put lots of information out. We'll have step-by-step guides on the website. And we also be available to help them either over the phone or in person. Yes, it's set up. It's very intuitive and pretty easy to use. It's a lot better than the current.
I'm thinking of like parents whose teenage kids helped them set it up the first time.
Yeah.
And now they're gone.
We get it a lot even now. We have, so with our current vendor, if a customer's payment is declined for any reason, maybe their card expired. And so the payments declined. I think Jackie's experienced this. It sends them a notification, but it kicks them off of auto pay and they have to go back in and reset it up. And we get that very frequently. They don't remember.
I don't know, my kids.
Yeah, so we help them, yeah.
Their parents are like, it's on auto pay.
What's great though, they have very good customer support, this new vendor, and right now we're having to do all of the support in-house and try and work through and then reach out if we're not able to solve our problems. They have 24/7 customer care.
Oh, that's nice.
They have an 800, so they can also help. They'll have multiple outlets.
Is it possible on the bill for, let's say, the end of September to be able to put like a one-line notification of the change?
Yes, we're gonna be putting it on the bill,
Okay.
newsletter, separate mailer, put it out at the
Right.
website.
I was just thinking that if it's on the bill, most people like us, we're on auto pay. Even with that, we still look at the bill, see what our consumption whatnot is. So if there's a little note on there, remember, we swap, you'll need to reset your auto pay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we got.
We did send an announcement out about it in this month.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
just-
I read it.
Yeah, we'll keep it.
But she's got more planned. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on the water bill.
Any other questions for Amanda? All right, keep up the good work. Mike?
Your council got the draft employee handbook sent out to Doug. He's been doing policy numbers, started an ordinance for transient lodging tax. Did a couple contracts that we're bringing back down the 25th. And by the 27th, so next week, I'm gonna sit down and after the TLT ordinance, and I need to do a land use ordinance where we're gonna cite mushroom shops. Psilocybin facilities, and then FEMA. FEMA overreach ordinance,
Thank you. Thank you.
really need to start, that draft needs to be uploaded to DLCD 45 days prior to the first public hearing. So if you backwards plan from December 4th, when we approve it, a few days late, the real deadline is the summer. It just means for those 3 or 4 days, we'll have the default of permit by permit.
Right.
But it'll go before the planning commission, then it'll come before you, before it's adopted.
We need to work on our definition of terms.
Yeah.
I'd rather see the dentist.
Any questions for Mike?
No.
All right. Doug?
I don't have a whole lot other than, you do have, if you guys get your LOC news, you should have seen in there that you have required public meetings training coming this fall. By law, you guys do have to attend, and the registration is now open. You can sign up for a webinar and you must attend one. I believe they begin in October. They have to be, I can't remember the completion date, but I think it's before the end of the calendar year. So, and then they also have, if you wish to go to one live, they have those listed if you want to go to an in-person training as well. But you can do it online and it has to be completed. So Lisa will get you guys links out to the web to the page already. If she hasn't already, she'll get it out to you. So you can at least get registered for that course. So just a simple reminder for that. Other than that, like Mike said, what's that?
Get a fine or go
Yeah.
to jail or?
They're.
You get a fine, you won't go to jail, but
And it's a fine that the city can't pay.
it's fine that will go to you personally by the Oregon Government Ethics. I won't say all elected officials have to do it, so.
Planning Commission as well. And I believe in most of their fines usually run $1,000.
Well, let's just skip the fine and just watch the web.
Just watch the webinar.
It's always.
Sweet, there are more than a few elected officials that I know that should have taken this.
As Mike said, I'm working on, he got the policy procedure manual already. I took it over to our management team. And we're updating some, so it reads a little easier, I believe, policy format versus a booklet format. I'm just working on that conversion. Everything goes well. I have it done by the end of the week and hopefully before you guys on the 25th, possibly. That's my goal. It's on track, but I get railroaded sometimes, so we'll see.
Any questions for Doug? We'll have council comments. Start with Tracy.
Do you have anything else?
Okay, Jackie,
Nothing here.
Stu,
Just glad it's 90 degrees.
says the guy who has a place in Canada.
It's just proof you don't have to be mentally stable to be a city councilor.
Wow. I've been on the council a lot.
Frank, hurry up, yeah.
I don't have much. Just want to let everybody know the first home Boomers football game is next week, Friday, the 13th against Myrtle Point. Not a good date, Friday the 13th. 7 p.m. Toledo High School.
That's it? Okay, all right, Jackie, go for it.
Pet parade time. Okay, so I reached out to other communities who hold pet parades to pick their brains. And so there was a guy in Washington that was really helpful. So what we need to launch this is to set a date. And who hosts it? Can we, or I'm unclear about that.
We can host it, the library can host it,
Well,
however you want to do it.
okay, so I was hopeful that we could host it. And then in terms of, like I said, the date of either the first or the second Saturday in October to avoid any rain. And then I had thought about, starting like the last parade where we met at JC Market, went down to Cobblestone. But then, I checked out the Riverfront Park and this guy in Washington said, what they do is the people sit around the edges of the park, around the perimeter, and the parade participants just parade in front of them. So I thought keeping it simple, that might be a good start since, this is our first time. So there's that. Needing to figure out the location.
We have to reserve with the port then.
Okay, that's what I didn't know is, which park is it anyway?
It's the port.
Okay, all right, so I'll check it. Now, Lisa, do I need a parade permit or anything for that? I looked on our website, I couldn't get it to download.
Yeah, we would need a parade permit.
Okay,
If the city council hosts it, it falls under the city, so we would not technically need.
Well, would we still need a parade permit if it was held at the waterfront park and just around the perimeter of the waterfront park?
Instead of on the street.
Instead of on the street?
Have to look at the provisions of the ordinance. I don't know if it's actually.
The only difference at the Toledo waterfront park is we will have to get an additional rider on our CIS for that. That's the only cost.
And I would imagine we need to ask that everybody's shots are up to date.
Yeah.
Just for a safety thing.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of little nuances. But, you know, to start out, does the grade from J.C. Market down to Cobblestone sound better to you guys than?
I like the idea of that the waterfront park because there's actual sidewalk around that pavilion
Yeah.
that they could use to walk on while people sat in the grass or however you wanted to do it. And then they could go around in a circle.
And you're not inhibiting any businesses, so no
Yeah.
businesses that don't
Or
want to
traffic.
participate are gonna get
No
upset.
businesses, no traffic to get in the road.
I think it's a very
Yeah.
good idea.
Parking.
Yeah, that's a great place to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to think in terms of, well, then next year, but I would like to have a contest. So some of the suggestions that I received was the owner pet costume combo. And then there was also the most creative, the scary,
Chief?
I was gonna add that if you have it at the park, then you can have vendors there, like the Humane Society or other people that may benefit your participants.
Yep.
It'd be easier to have vendors there.
Yeah, they can just have a table.
I like it. So,
Thanks, Chief.
so then, you know, if we have a contest, we need judges, so there should be 3 judges. And then, you know, what do they get? So
Let me come up with something.
can we just do ribbons?
Ribbons, you do ribbons and, you know, gift cards.
I was gonna say we could solicit gift cards from the local businesses.
Yeah.
Something. You know, the big
You know,
one.
gift cards from local businesses for the owner and the dog. Or
Okay,
the cat, or the whatever.
and then possible vendors. Like, I thought it would be kind of fun to do a wiener roast at the end of it.
Real
Well, I think-
dachshunds.
I have 3. Well, I only have one, my daughter has 2.
I take it all back, Sue.
Well,
I love it.
So a hot dog.
yeah, could we do, you know?
Yes, we could do hot dogs.
I think that would be so cute.
We happen to have a good grill. Some of us know how to do a good grill. So yes, you could do that.
Okay, then I'm wondering, I don't know about the high school. Is there a marching band?
No.
No.
Okay, scratch that. Is there a one-man band, you know, like you see at the Lincoln County Fair? He walks
Oh.
around with his.
I'm sure you could get a one or a group.
Steve might be available.
Anyway, just.
He's retired. I have extra guitars. We can all come along.
Or the other thing is, at that pavilion, I'm guessing there's electricity where we could pipe in like Halloween music.
Yep, because they just had the band down there.
Yeah, I have instruments, but I'm not very good playing them. Does that matter?
The car.
So Jack,
Yes,
so here's my suggestion.
yes.
Number one, go talk to Lisa, find out what permits and whatnot you need to have.
Okay.
Okay. Secondly, try to first get your date. I'm gonna recommend at this point, it's the second
That's
weekend.
what I was thinking.
Okay,
Just what I.
And then, and this is the hard part, now and say next Wednesday. Because remember, we don't have a meeting on the 18th. So I would say between now and next Wednesday, try to get all of your information together that you can. And then have Lisa send that information out to all of us.
okay,
And then we can answer back through Lisa. Okay, because we can't talk to one another outside of this
Or
meeting.
it's a serial.
Right. So
Not
we
about
don't,
business.
so we don't run into the serial meeting issue. And we could use Lisa as our point of contact to send things back, like I'll take care of X, or I know who I can see about Y, or, you know, that kind of thing. And to try to make this work.
It would have to be the second weekend because those of us going to the convention will be gone on the 3rd.
Correct, yeah, well,
Right.
that's why she said the first or second, so.
Oh, I thought it was second there.
so then I'm wondering, can I have some money for a banner and maybe some yard signs where they could be posted
If you bring us like a quote
okay,
on those, then at our 3rd meeting this month, well,
Okay.
it'd be our 2nd meeting because we're canceling the 15th,
okay,
we could authorize those expenditures.
then I'm not a graphic artist. We need flyers.
Lisa's really good at that. Sorry, Lisa.
Yeah.
Wow, you had no hesitation at that.
She's really good at that. And she's gonna start throwing pens at my head.
Okay, all right, well, I think.
She's asking Chief if she can borrow his sidearm.
Just a taser, yeah, just a taser, not, you know,
So
come on,
then-
calm down.
One last thing, Mayor, you had mentioned something about involving some of the high school
Yes.
kids. And so I thought it would be good if we could have them walk around with poop bags for one. And.
Yeah, we're gonna sign up to that, no problem.
So,
How do I get in touch with them?
so if you would like to go see the high school kids, why don't I see about setting up, you and I going to the high school sometime next week
Okay,
and seeing what interest we can drum up.
okay.
Oh.
Don't kids still have to do volunteer work?
Why, that's all just part of it. Why, yes, it is.
Bummer.
Yes.
Okay,
I like seniors and juniors for that role.
yes.
There was a gal, the Chris from, she did the, yeah, not Eric, but it's Rachel. And she did the little things in there, so she would.
That was such a big deal.
Oh, she would be a good contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other
I was thinking
animals and
that
such
too.
in there. She-
What's her name?
Rachel Chris Wallace.
She's the
And
head of 4-H.
I will introduce you to her next week.
She does great.
You've met her, you'll see her and you'll, oh, I haven't
Well,
even.
I met her at,
Yeah,
You met her at our joint meetings when we've been here with the full board, because she's on the full board.
okay. All right, well, that's. I'm excited. I already got my costumes.
That it?
Well, that's all I can think of, and
Okay.
I'm open for input, any ideas or thoughts.
All right. Kim? Excuse me, Council President.
I don't think I have any for tonight. I'm good.
Okay, really quick tonight, September school is back in session. Please be careful out on the road when the school bus has blinking red lights. Stop your car. That doesn't mean pass. Because there's also a little sign that sticks out that says stop and it's flashing too. Watched 2 people go flying past a bus this morning. Yes,
Seriously?
yeah, and if I'd have thought that calling Toledo PD as the guy who's ran down 20 out of town toward the East Junction, could have got there, I'd have called him, but I was livid. So folks, come on. I can tell you that 30 seconds is not going to affect your life, okay? Stop for the bus, wait, okay? Thank you. I will tell you all that I know that we've talked about having contact with the county about taking all of Sturtevant Road, all the way, both ends of it. I can tell you that the teachers and parents up at Toledo High School are very encouraging about us doing that because we might actually put up signs. We might actually enforce those signs. We might actually, I can't directly quote what one parent said, but the synopsis is give a fecal matter. So we have community support to do that.
That meeting is the 9th.
So hopefully we can come to an amicable conclusion on that. I will let you know that we need money if we're gonna take that, because that's 2 more miles, 2 more full miles of road.
Heavily trafficked.
Heavily trafficked road, heavily truck trafficked road that we need to take care of. And so that you know, one of the things that I'm pushing, and hopefully I'll bring a resolution back to you guys here in the next couple of months. I'm trying to form a coalition of us small cities that have truck routes, because we don't get any more money for transportation dollars than anybody else does. It's all based on per capita. It's not based on whether or not you have a truck route. Yes, thank you very much. I like that look, Frank. I just wish I could get more people in Salem to get that look. But I'm trying to get a coalition of smaller cities that have truck routes to get the state to recognize those truck routes and give all of us another chunk of change so that we can afford to keep having business, quite simply.
Fix our roads.
Yeah, to keep our roads up because of the business that we have in town.
It's so great to see that with that now.
Yes, well, I've decided that we're gonna go full court press because I am tired of getting shined on by certain powers that be. And for those of you that have known me a long time, the bit's about ready to get chomped on, so. That's all we got tonight. There's Stu, 7:17, we are adjourned.